Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Laura Train Mama. Today I'm here with my helper. We are looking at something slightly different. We will be reading Ivor the Engine, Ivor's birthday. Enjoy. It was Ivor's birthday. Well, it may have been. Nobody knows when Ivor's birthday is. So Mr. Dinwiddie chooses the first really fine day in spring and makes Ivor a birthday cake. Well, you might call it a cake, but it looked very nasty. The only way you could tell it was a birthday cake was by reading the green words, Happy Birthday Ivor, which Mr. Dinwiddie had written on its grey and purple top. It certainly did not look good to eat, but you couldn't have eaten it if you tried, because it was hard as stone, being made of coal dust, mixed with cement and gunpowder and chopped Roman candles. Ivor hooted with joy when he saw it. He loved his birthday cake. Ivor didn't exactly eat his birthday cake. Mr. Dinwiddie just popped it into his fire on top of the coal. Nothing happened for a moment, and then, with a roar and a crackle, clouds of bright green smoke full of purple, pink and pale blue flashes billowed up from his funnel. Everybody cheered, and Eli Bevan, the baker, brought up his present for Ivor. Eli's present was the same every year, a batch of freshly baked rolls shaped like little railway engines. Ivor hooted when he saw them, and everybody in Laniog knew it was time to run to the station to share Ivor's birthday breakfast. Ivor loved his birthday, but his was different from yours or mine. Being a railway engine, he did not really want to be given presents. What he liked best of all was giving presents to other people. Jones and Eli were busy buttering and handing out the hot rolls, and everybody was very happy. Well, nearly everybody. Dye Station, the station master, was looking glum as usual.
I don't think much of birthdays,
he said.
People giving each other presents and that. I think it's a bit silly. And as for railway engines having birthdays, that's just ridiculous. I shall be glad when it's over.
Di stumped away to count up the used tickets, just as another lot of Ivor's friends turned up on their bicycles. This was the Grumbly and District Choral Society, who had come to help Ivor with his day's work. They hooked on the trucks, loaded them with goods, and sat on top.
Poo poo,
went Ivor's whistle. Away they went, and as they went, they sang and waved and laughed together as the green smoke blew all around and away up into the sky. The sun shone happily on them as they puffed along the line, over the hill, past the coal mine and up to the posh house where Mrs. Porty lives. Mrs. Porty was waiting for them. She had a present for Ivor, a huge present, all done up with colourful paper and ribbons. The Choral Society jumped down, and very carefully, so as not to tear the paper or spoil the ribbon, they opened the parcel. In the parcel was the biggest, woolliest pullover in the whole world. It must have been knitted from woolen rope on needles, the size of broom handles. It fitted Ivor perfectly. It might have been made for him. Well, of course, it was made for him, wasn't it? Nobody else in the world is quite that shape.
No,
said Mrs. Porty.
That will keep you warm and cosy, Ivor. Poop poop,
went Ivor's whistle. That evening, after all the laughing and singing and dancing was over, Ivor stood at Laniog Station wearing his new pullover. Jones and Di were sitting on his step with Nell, Mr. Pugh's sheepdog.
Do you think Ivor's birthday is over now?
Asked Di.
I don't know.
Laughed Jones.
When do birthdays end? Well, I think birthdays for railway engine are silly.
Said Di.
We'll be having birthdays for sheep next. Why not?
Asked Jones.
Because
Di couldn't think of a reason.
Because sheep are all the same. That one isn't.
Said Jones, pointing to one lamb which was standing by itself.
I've been watching that one and it has no mother. Is that right, Nell?
Nell is a very clever sheepdog. She knew what to do. She rounded up the lonely lamb, drove it down to Ivor, gently lifted it in her mouth, and placed it on Ivor's step. Jones laughed.
No, that is a birthday present which Ivor will not accept. He is wearing a woolly pullover, but does to me he is a mother sheep.
Nell whimpered and looked at Di.
Somebody will have to look after it.
Said Di.
It needs warm milk. That's right.
Said Jones, looking at Di. Jones and Nell went on looking at Di until he spoke.
All right,
He said.
I'll look after it.
Nell wagged her tail and licked the tip of Di's nose. The next morning, Jones the Steam came to work as usual. Well, not quite as usual. Ivor was wearing his huge woolly pullover, and in the booking office, Di was trying to feed a bottle of warm milk to the lamb. "Oh, Di, you're a funny-looking mother sheep," laughed Jones. Di did not laugh. "Not half as funny as Ivor looks wearing that silly pullover," he said crossly. "Hush, Di," whispered Jones. "Ivor is very sensitive about how he looks." "Never mind about that," grunted Di. "You and Ivor are here to work. You might as well get on with it. Ivor's birthday is over now." "I wonder if it is," thought Jones. Jones loaded up the goods and he and Ivor set off on their day's work. Jones could feel that Ivor was worried about something, but he didn't find out what it was until they had delivered Mr. Hannibal his ploughshare and Mr. Davies his tomatoes. They rolled down the hill, past the schoolhouse at playtime. As usual, the children ran to the fence to shout and wave to Ivor. But this time, when they saw him in his woolly pullover, they laughed. Oh, how they laughed. "Bah! Who's a silly sheep then? Bah! Bah!" They laughed and bleated, but Ivor took no notice. He steamed past, trying to look as dignified as possible, which is not easy when you're dressed up as a sheep. But the moment he was round the corner and out of sight, psst, bunk, psst, bunk, bunk, he slammed on all his brakes. Jones the Steam climbed down. "Perhaps that pullover is a bit too warm for you, Ivor," he suggested. "After all, you don't feel cold because you have a big fire in your middle, so maybe I could take it off. How about that?" Boop, boop, boopity boop, boop. Ivor thought that was a good idea. Jones rolled up the pullover and put a rope around it. "The trouble with presents is that you can't just give them back," he said. "Mrs. Porty went to a lot of trouble knitting this. She made it to keep you warm, but as you don't need to be kept warm, I suppose it would be all right for us to give it to somebody who does. But who on earth would it fit? I don't know." Boop, boop, boopity boop, 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 boop. Ivor knew. "Come on then, show me," shouted Jones. He jumped into the cab and off they went. Ivor took him to Landmad, where Charlie Banger's circus stays in winter. "It's for Alice," shouted Jones. "Of course, she feels the cold terribly." Alice, as you know, or have guessed, was an elephant. She was a very old friend. So was Barney, the elephant keeper. With a bit of adjustment, the pullover fitted Alice perfectly. "Oh, you are a beautiful English elephant," cried Barney. What shall we give to Ivor in return? Barney and Alice gave Ivor a huge glittering elephant's necklace. It looked very good on Ivor's tank. Boop, boopity boop. Ivor was pleased. When Mrs. Porty saw Ivor's necklace, she clapped her hands. "That is beautiful," she cried. "May I try it on?" The necklace was so big she had to fold it twice. It hung on her like a giant mayor's chain, and it looked magnificent. "It is too good for Ivor to wear all the time," said Jones. "The rain would spoil it. I am sure Ivor would like you to keep it for him. I think Alice would too." "Alice? Who is Alice?" asked Mrs. Porty. So Jones told Mrs. Porty about the pullover and how Alice feels the cold. Mrs. Porty did not mind at all. She seemed pleased. "I shall look after the necklace for you," she announced. On the way home, Jones wondered whether Ivor's birthday was really over now. But when they reached Laniog, Di was nowhere to be seen. In the end, Jones found him in the field, trying to show the lamb how to eat grass. "Oh, what hard work it is being a mother," laughed Jones. Di did not laugh. "Some of us take our responsibilities seriously," he said proudly. In fact, Di's responsibilities grew more and more serious as the weeks went by. The lamb was very playful. It also grew up into a young ram who enjoyed butting into things. Nell the sheepdog came by now and then to make sure it was all right. It was all right, but nothing else was. It pushed over the boxes, ate the tickets, spilt the teapot, broke pieces off the doors, and bent the pipes. Di loved it so much that he didn't seem to notice, but Mrs. Porty, who really owns the whole railway, came along to find out what was happening. Di Station was there, and he was pleased to see her. The ram was there too, but he was not pleased to see her. In fact, he decided that she was about to leave. He decided to help her on her way. He lowered his head and charged. Mrs. Porty did not wait. She scuttled back to her donkey cart and was helped into it by the ram. "Get rid of it," she shouted. "Send it back to where it came from." Di stood there quite amazed. I don't think he quite knew what had happened, but Nell the sheepdog knew. She knew it was time to round up the ram and put him back with the other sheep. So that is what she did. That evening, Jones and Di sat on Ivor's step with Nell. They were looking at the sheep in the field opposite. "Which is your sheep, Di?" asked Jones. "They all look the same to me." "Oh no," said Di. "They are all different, and mine was very special." Di wiped away a tear. Nell licked the tip of his nose to say thank you for looking after the lamb, and Ivor's birthday was really over at last. The end. That brings us to the end of the story, Ivor the Engine, Ivor's birthday. I really hope that you enjoyed listening along with me today, and if you did, please don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps me out. Share this video with a friend if you want to. You could even check you're subscribed if you want to. And other than that, have a great day.